You're so pretty, why don't you have a boyfriend? I was like, boyfriend? Ew. From all things I could be getting for being pretty, a boyfriend is what you're giving me. A man that wanna use me, my body, and my time. Come again. I felt offended the first time I heard this. You feel some kind of FOMO. You fear of missing out because you're pretty and you're not being used. You're craving this attention and love from yourself, and you're not giving it for yourself, so you're having this disorder and illusion of love. It's not real because he hasn't done anything for you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I know you've been waiting for this. Limiting mindset for women. So these specifically are things that and of course I've seen it in other people and other women, but like I personally have felt, and then when I broke out of them, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Why was I limiting myself so hard? Like, is this working? Is this working? Wow. I was living like that? Like, that's so weird. Why did I think that way? Why did I feel like this is the only way? And I would feel depressed, I would feel sad, I would be upset, because I would believe that that is real life. That is how life is. Number one, you need a man to level up and achieve your goals. That's a limiting mindset. You might feel like, I know that, but are you taking actions toward that? Do you take actions toward your goals? Do you imagine only a man could give you that? The only way I could move out of my house, get the house of my dream, travel. Do you see yourself only doing that if there is a man, if you're married to a man that could give you that? If that's so, then that's a limiting mindset. You have to force yourself to imagine yourself doing these things and finding a way to do them without a man. I'm talking about like in countries where you actually, like the United States and wherever, where you can actually have the freedom to do these things and you legally could. At least do small things one at a time that you feel like subconsciously that you can't really do them unless there's a man that's doing them for you. Like, I'm guilty of this. Man would do everything for me. So I grew up thinking then only a man, I have to be pretty, so a man could save me. The only way I could move out of my house is if a man has a good job and can move me out. The only way I could travel if a man pays for it and comes with me and does everything for me, so I don't have to think, I don't have to find out how am I going to travel, how to book a ticket, book a hotel, how do I pay for these things. Like, this is hard, I don't want to think about it. I'll just get a man to do all these things for me. And thinking of that, I was like, oh, that's privilege. That's not privilege. Because even if you're pretty and you think you could do that because a man could do that for you, it's limiting because you subconsciously will feel like, well, now I need a man to actually do these things because I technically can't. You're telling yourself you can't do these things, even if you obviously not telling yourself you can't, but you're telling yourself you need a man to do these things, and you're stopping yourself from achieving your goals because you feel like, but a man could do that for me, so I'm not gonna do it. I want you to do these things regardless, and when a man comes, you demand he's able to do these things for you. If he can't, then obviously he's out. Just like, what's the point? Because of course, for me, I was thinking, I was like, damn, no matter how perfect all these men I would date, on paper they're perfect, treat me perfectly, they would give me everything, but I'm like, I want to do this alone though. How do I get to do this without a man? But I need a man to do this. And then I was like, oh, I have to be in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship though. Like, oh, I have to be with a man, and I didn't want to. The more I find out about men and how things are in life and how you level up, men hold you back though. Men hold you back in so many ways in life. At some point I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna go and do the things I feel like I need a man. I was so dependent mentally. Like, I needed a man to do everything for me. Because in my head I was thinking, I'm so pretty, I deserve a man that does these things for me. Which obviously, okay, yeah, you're pretty, you deserve whatever, cool. But you should feel like you deserve you doing these things for you. Another person doing this for you is fine. But if you don't feel like you deserve it from yourself, then You're not really at the self-worth level that you think you are. Because of in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I have so much self-worth, I'm going to demand this and that and the third from a man. But are you doing this and that and the third for yourself? Because if you're not, if you're stopping yourself from doing these things, because in your head you need it to come from a man or from another person, even your parents or whatever, then you're limiting yourself because you never felt this love and affection, act of kindness from yourself. And that's a whole other level of self-worth. Because when you start doing things for yourself, your love for yourself and your standards will get higher. Because like, I did that for myself. What are you gonna come in here and do for me? So you're gonna come here and you're not gonna do that? And you're gonna give me less than what I do? You don't need anybody, and this is not a negative, like, oh, I'm a hyper independent woman. Okay, I'm probably the last person ever who was hyper independent. I was hyper dependent of everybody because of everybody was giving things for me. Like to this day, there's so many things that I don't do. Normal people do my age, but I just don't do. If you watch my stories and stuff, sometimes I talk about it. I have the mentality and I feel like in my life, every week I change. And it's always better, I always achieve higher. And I can feel myself drifting to something negative, and I would pull myself. I was like, it's not that negative. They want to do it for me, which is what enabled me to be dependent. And will come and fucking do it for me. Like, why would I do it? But you can. If you don't want a man, you can just do it. And that was such a relief for me because I don't want a man. I keep getting them because it was my dependability on other people. I would force myself to talk to men, and you would think like, oh, but why wouldn't you want to talk to a man? Like, but because I didn't want a man. I needed to get married at some point. Like so many men I've talked about this did propose to me very early on. I heard both. I heard the hyper independent and I heard the hyper codependent. And I've been hyper codependent. All this is just point one. Your life starts after marriage. That's number two. I hear a lot of women who are married would say they waited all their life to live their life because they thought when they're married, they'll start doing that. This is very Eastern actually mentality, because she wouldn't do anything with her, like at home, her parents wouldn't let her go out, wouldn't let her this and that, wherever. She thinks when I get married, I can do all these things with my husband because I'm not with my parents anymore. And it's just usually controlling under new management. But in the United States, it's the same thing. They would have this mentality of life starts subconsciously. They would think going out, I would start traveling, I would start doing all these things that I wish I would do when I'm married, and my life starts after marriage. And they would imagine their life, imagine themselves only doing the things they love when they are married. That's a very much a limiting mindset. And realistically, you will not, if you did not do these things before marriage, you will not do them after marriage. You will do less than you did before marriage when you're married, because now you have other things, responsibilities. The average person does less in the marriage than before. This is a very much limited mindset. Do everything you want in your life without thinking after, before, whatever. Do it right now, do it for yourself. You need to have children. If you feel like you always knew you wanted children, you always wanted to be a mother, then yes, this is for you. But if you're in your imagination of the future, it's really hard for you to imagine children. I would say don't have children until it's a very easy image for you to imagine. Every time I imagine or describe my future, I'm single. And even though I always knew like I would be married, like I always knew in my head, because of that codependency I grew up on where I can't do anything unless a man does it for me. I always knew I would be married, but I just hoped I would be divorced, I guess, in the back of my head. Like I just like best case scenario, I would get married and I would get divorced. I would think in my head, like, life starts after marriage, right? The man would give me everything I want, bring me into the life of like traveling, and I will get used to it. He would help me with my career and all of that, and then I could divorce him. It's very childish, okay? Don't judge me. But that was basically my subconscious goal. I'm supposed to like clean and cook for a man, like you're supposed to come home and find something. Of course, then developed, like obviously, like I'm not gonna be a stay-at-home mom. This is not me. I will have my own career. I digress. If it's children, something you always imagined, it's just a clear thing. If it's something you always imagined all your life, then do it. But for a lot of women I saw in like social media and even my own aunts, they never wanted children, never seen themselves having children, and they had children because they felt like they have to. It's just like the culture, it's what you do. Everybody has children, like, what do you mean? But they just never wanted them. There's a lot of women that regret having children, and you don't want to bring a child to the world where they can always sense that their mother didn't want them. And it will reflect in your parenting, it will reflect in your lifestyle, in your communication with them. Don't think, oh, I'll be a good parent. If you didn't want children, if you can't imagine having a child, you can't take consistent actions with the child to show them that you wanted them throughout all their, let's say, 18 years of childhood. They will sense that you don't want them. I was never sure about having my own child, but I was always thinking about adopting. I'm saving somebody's who's already out there. I did often imagine taking care of children, like, who are not mine. Your adopted children is your children, but like, if I adopted them, then I am helping them. I digress again. I keep digressing. Something that is definitely limiting to think you have to have children. You're not living your full potential without a man. Oh, you are not living full potential without a man. You hear this a lot growing up. It's like, oh, you're so pretty. Why are you single? You hear this a lot. So you subconsciously start feeling like, am I wasting my potential? My beauty is going away for nothing because there's no man who's enjoying my beauty. Thus making you subconsciously feeling like you're the supportive character for a man. You're not the main character for your life because you're thinking, I'm pretty and somebody gotta use this. Somebody gotta, and it's crazy to say it out loud, but it is literally the result of hearing. Just like the first time I heard of this, when I came to the United States, like literally at 13, and I thought, like, boyfriend? From all the fucking things I could be getting for being pretty, a boyfriend is what you're giving me. A man that wanna use me, my body, and my time. Come again. Like, I felt offended the first time I heard this. My family, like my mom and I and my sister, will always make fun of, like, when we first got here and we kept hearing that, like, oh, you're pretty much. So, like, this is so funny. It's so embarrassing. Like, a boyfriend of all things. I don't know if it's just my family or it's just like obviously just worldwide Eastern mentality. They just don't respect boyfriends. They think it's like it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend because like you're waiting on a man, you're letting a man take your time and you're being loyal to a man who's not giving you what you want, which is marriage, which is, you want. But even if that, the average boyfriend is not giving you what you want. It's not giving you a house, it's not giving you a car either. It's not supporting you in every way. If he's not doing things for you, then it's embarrassing to be with a man. You feel some kind of FOMO. You fear of missing out because you're pretty and you're not being used. Which is like, it's such a weird feeling. It's like, am I wasting my life? My prettiness is going header. I don't know what's header in English. Because no man is enjoying it. That was literally my thought. Which is tea. Somebody gives me a tea to sip. Use all the things you could get from being pretty, but use it for yourself as the main character of your life. You don't even have to be that pretty, I'm probably slightly over full of myself, but really, like, being a woman is literally currency. I'm not even talking about, oh, you gotta be this and that. Well, just being a woman is currency. So just because you're a young woman, use that for your advantage. Don't think a man gonna use that for you to be living your woman potential. Do the things you imagine a man doing it for you. Do these and use man to do them for you. But don't wait only for a man to do them for you. Don't always go around and dating men and whatever so they could give you things. Don't do that, it's limiting. Get them for yourself. Know you could achieve these things and use men for whatever you need. A girl is what all men work so hard in hopes of achieving. It's something to achieve. It's currency. You are there to achieve for yourself everything you want and use men as an accessory, as a side character. Okay? Men are only side characters for your life. They will always be side characters. You will always be the main character. In whatever life choice you choose to do, whether you're religious, whether you are not, whether you are conservative, everybody around you is a side character. You are your own thoughts, your own mind. Thus, you are the main character because you can only hear your thoughts. You are in your own body. You feel your own body. Thus, you are the main character. You can give all the love you want, all the care you want, but don't throw away your life, your goals, because you feel like somebody else should be benefiting from you. Need to find a man quick while you are young. This is obviously in every woman's mind because it's literally put in our mind all our lives. Literally, we're children, and that's the first thing. Like, oh, you gotta hurry up and get married before it's too late. You're gonna get old, you expire. When you're young, you rush to get married, and then you regret these things. You regret getting married young. You regret having children young. You, even if you want to get married, you want to have children, you doing it so soon, like we brushed up on. Marriage, your life does not start after marriage. And most women do regret getting married this quickly or regret the man they pick. Women obviously are the ones who are initiating the divorce for the most part. And they regret their time with a man. They regret their time with their husband, with their ex-husband. They regret the time with their boyfriends, with their whatever. All this time they restricted themselves being with a man. They regret that. They want you to get married so early because when you are just a tiny bit older, around 25, 27, that's when your frontal lobe is fully developed. I would tell all my exes, like, oh, I'm gonna be married by then. I'm gonna be married. Because that's like, I don't ever like date a man exclusively because like obviously I know like I brought in the Middle East and I'm telling them first come first serve, bitch. It's funny, but like it is like in the Middle East you're not exclusive with a man unless he wants to marry you. Like how it's supposed to technically be traditionally, like in courtship, which is the time where a man proposed to you. A man, wow, I finished the whole video and it didn't it didn't record, it stopped recording. Ah! Okay. Need to find a man quick while you're still young. Obviously, like, you don't, it's limiting. Not understanding that marriage can be a trap for women. Marriage originally was made so women could serve men. You are a laborer, you are a chef, you bring children, you clean the house, you're a laborer to men. Women couldn't have jobs, you couldn't have whatever. Religion aside, this is how marriage is intended, so women couldn't have a job. Thinking a man is the only source of abundance. So when I get married, he's gonna spend on me. When I have to get a man, a boyfriend of some sort to spend on me, you don't invest, you don't start business, you don't do your hobbies or whatever, so your life becomes just him. If he trickles down on you of some goodness, that's the only goodness you're getting from life. You're not letting abundance come to you. You're not letting yourself do more for yourself, for your life, because you think only a man could give you that. Thus, you're limiting yourself because that's not true. You actually could get abundance from everywhere. a fountain of abundance. It could be from so many sources that you create and sources that reveal themselves in life to you. You just have to not think, no, none of this are possible because only a man can save me. The romance and like love as we know it in modern life is not the love you want to pick your man. Music, media, movies, the love is limerence. It's more like in love, a phase that is very temporary. This is what you're shown in media. He has been doing things for you for like 10 years. If he hasn't been doing much to you, that's not love. You're just attached in a way that is a mental disorder, lacking something from yourself, so you are craving it from somebody else, and it just becomes this unhealthy obsession. It's not real because he hasn't done anything for you. You're craving this attention and love from yourself, and you're not giving it for yourself, tying the effort to yourself, so you're having this disorder and illusion of love. The attachment is real though. The mental illness is real. If a man fits all your criteria and you like him and he's passing all your tests and he is up to all your standards and you have your pros and cons list and he has more pros than cons, then okay, pick him. But if he has more cons and barely any pros because you like him, that's a mental disorder and you're just attached. Connect back to yourself and feel, why are you feeling like you're missing these gaps that you're seeking from somebody else? You're supposed to like as a partner, not as somebody that fulfills your gaps. It's not what you want. It's unhealthy. Not understanding that a man is a liability. Marrying just to get married, that's very bad. It will bring you all the bad things to your life. Marriage just to get married, getting a man just to get a man, because that means you're lacking so much within yourself, your worth, your self-love, and it will impact tremendously toward your life. You will give so much. You will keep giving and receive none. And you will be okay with that until you can't anymore, or until he just leaves you because you're just a doormat. He could ruin your life. He could waste your time. He could waste your best years. He could take you away from a better man. So you could have been with somebody better who gave you better, but you chose a liability. And he could stop you from pursuing your goals, pursuing your career, pursuing your passions, because you chose to be with that man. So a man can be a liability, and the wrong man can be a liability. A man in general can be a liability, and you have to understand that. Just because having a man and you're not being mindful about it, you are putting yourself as a liability. Centering men in general, obviously, you're no longer living your life for yourself. You just become a supporting character for whoever man that comes and picks you. Imagine you're reading a book and then the main character halfway through the book becomes just a secondary character. What a lame ass weird book that makes no sense. That's what you would be doing. So thinking a man is a plan is centering man. You need plans. You need other sources. You need other places the abundance come from. When you think a man is your only, you're trusting too much. You're trusting too much into a man. He's gonna feel like you're just an accessory to him because you're no longer a person. You depend everything on him. Without him, you'll be homeless. You have no job, no career, no future, no passions, no things set in stone for yourself just in case something happens. No amount of money or freedom that is coming to you that separates you from him. And he will see you as less than. He's gonna feel like you're not a real person. Plus, he's not gonna respect you as much. Just trusting a man that much will ruin you. Because in a case of divorce, in a case of whatever, you're not getting as much as you think you would be getting. If you don't have legal papers that guarantees you protection in case of divorce, there's these years that pass, you're at home doing nothing, you are with the kids, the time you put into the kids, the effort you put into having a child, all of these things, you should be rewarded money for that. This is not for free. And when you act like you are just a laborer for a man, then you will be screwed, because you just lived as a side character all your life for him to benefit and level up. And you were nothing. You just did nothing for your whole life. You just wasted. Always have legal papers that protects you. Ask him, I want a prenup that benefits me. I always tell all the men I talk to that I want a prenup that benefits me. At first, they're always like, no, you're crazy. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? But then I tell them, I want the man to protect me. I want you to protect me as the man. If you can't protect me, why would I be with you? If my own man that I'm supposed to trust with my life, with my body, with my children, can't protect me, and in case of divorce, you're just gonna let me go? You're gonna let the mother of your children, the woman that you spent half of your life with, or how many years with, just get screwed? What does that tell about you? This is what I literally tell them. I was like, I want a real man that protects me and stays a man even if we broke up, and can have this morals and have the emotional intelligence to have a connection with someone regardless. You have respect for them and you have this honor. And if I am married to somebody who has an ex-wife and he doesn't take care of her, like as in they have children and he leaves her, she's like have no job and she's screwed and she doesn't have any support, and her whole life just got ruined because he left her, and he's okay with that, I will know that's his type of character. I will know that he would do this for me, and I will know he doesn't have emotional intelligence and he sees women are just bodies. Because if he actually saw you as more, then he wouldn't let you be homeless, be jobless, be without support just because he left you. Only if he's trash, he would do that. And I would never be with trash. And that's how I talk to them, just speaking my truth. And I'm like, I'm cool, I'm chill. Like, this is, I just want a real man that would actually protect me. And if the man I'm picking is not interested in protecting me if we broke up, I don't want him. And I feel unsafe with him, obviously. And they all agreed. They all agreed. I was like, you know, you're making a lot of sense. Actually, I'll be with that. I would sign whatever you need. I would want, for every child I bring, I want money. Like, appropriate to every child, to every labor I put, to every year I am in the house, every year that passes and my career degenerates. All of these things I will put very detailed concepts that I would get in case of a divorce. And they all would be like, you know, that makes sense. This is the normal reaction of somebody that respects you as a person, not just as a woman, as a person. Like, they see you as a person. Imagine you are married, you just had a fight with your husband, and the house is on fire, so he runs out and leaves you in the house because you had a fight. So technically, like, this is the same thing, just a different font. Imagine you just broke up with your boyfriend, like literally 2 minutes ago, and then another man comes and tries to assault you. And then your ex-boyfriend of now, he sees you getting assaulted, and he just is like, ex-bitch, bye. You're like, okay, we're done, right? Technically, I don't have to. You could go die, right? I would never be associated with a man like that. And if he thinks this is okay, I don't want him. And this is how I would explain it. I'd be like, you know, this makes a lot of sense. There's no way. If, like, even if we had a fight, if we broke up, if we were wherever, you're being assaulted, I would obviously protect you. It's like, this is the energy that I want. And if you felt like, if you broke up with your husband, with your boyfriend, and he sees you getting assaulted just because you broke up, he's not going to defend you. If you feel like that's okay because you broke up, you don't have enough self-worth. If you think that's okay of a reaction from him, then you are dating trash and you feel like you deserve trash because you're trash. This is the indication you're giving, because you feel like you're not worth of anything. If you're not satisfying him right now, you're literally not worth anything. You might just go die. I'm explaining it to you and you feel like, oh, that makes sense. Because if a man actually would let me die just because we broke up, that means he's trash. Thus, why would you marry a man that wouldn't want to protect you if you get divorced? What does that make him? He's costing. Not allowing yourself to grow and change from what people are used to you as. So this concept, I felt it last year. I was changing a lot. I was developing so much more than I've ever felt because I am doing social media. My social media is about communication. I'm being exposed to so many ideas and so many walks of life that I'm like, okay, like this changed me, and I've changed in the way I feel about things. And I was talking to somebody and felt for a second, I was like, I'm changing. Is this person gonna feel it? Like what is this? What does this mean? Because they will feel the difference. I'm no longer the person they were used to when we first start talking. Like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I feel because I am the main character. So I just showed up as my new personality, as my new mindset, as my new thoughts. And he's like, yo, you changed. I was like, I changed. This is the new me. And he was like, oh, you weren't like that. Always been like that. I was like, no, you said something different. Oh, well, I'm like that now. It is what it is. They just got in with the program with me the same speed as me. I'm speeding. I'm changing so fast because I had this very almost unnatural, because the social media I'm exposed to, because of how I make content, is more than a normal person grows up. I was feeling myself, I'm changing every single week, every single month. I would have a whole different point of views about things. And I'm keeping them on their toes. I'm changing like this. At first, they're like, what the fuck? They're trying to cage me back into the mindset I was, like as a childish mindset that I had in the beginning. And I was like, it is what it is. Take it or leave it. But like, that's energy fucking already in Arabic. Like, that was the energy I was giving. Like, it is what it is. Like, I wasn't being rude. I was like, I'm just being me. And when they saw that I'm changing so fast, they were like, okay, like, fine, like, cool. And they had respect for that. They had respect for me changing, because I was giving this energy of, I am living for my life. I'm not living for you. I respect myself and I love myself and I educate myself and I develop. And we're gonna develop together, or you're gonna be out. I'm gonna develop regardless. He really liked that, and we were developing together, and that actually made us to develop even faster together. Like, I was developing at a very fast speed, but together we were developing even faster. And like, props to him. Like, I was doing too much. Don't feel like when you change, the people are gonna not like it and leave you and whatever. No, people who actually like you, they're gonna respect you more. And this is the same thing with like my mother. I was like very dogmatic, go against my own will to like help her with things, right? Which is like cute and whatever, but like, I would put everything I need on the side and help her with the most mediocre stuff, which is great. Help your mother, help your parents, but you have to like stand up for yourself. You have to know when you're being used and not keep doing things for other people and thinking this is like, I did something. You did not do anything for yourself. You just did that for like other people, and did not develop you at all. So I stood up for myself and I just started acting like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I never did that. I don't know why you're asking that of me. And she was like, wow, what is this new attitude? I was like, something's different. And I was like, this is my new me. She respected that I was standing on my business. Like, I took priority on my life. She respected that even if she didn't like it. Developing and changing is always a good thing in your relationships and for yourself. And you should always prioritize yourself, and don't be scared to change around people that know you as something else. When they sense something different, communicate that this is your new thoughts. And it's great. Everybody will feel comfortable, and even if they don't feel comfortable, fuck them. Just kidding. I mean, why not? Any mature person who loves you, they will understand and they will respect you for it. A person that doesn't like you was just using you, obviously they're not gonna appreciate that. Those are the ones you're supposed to ghost anyways. But I did not encounter anything like that. At least I didn't even notice. I just saw like, I'm just embracing the new me that I felt very happy about. Everybody around me that I cared about liked it, supported me. I thought, Like, wow, this is character development. That's it for everything for today. Thank you so much. It's so much shorter, okay? It's so much shorter from what I recorded. I was blabbing so much more. But it's okay, fine. Thank you so much for watching. Like so other people can find this video, and subscribe for more divine mindset. And I can't speak anymore. I'm so upset. Okay, let's move on. You are. Okay. That was a whole like 40 minutes probably. Okay. Okay.